Hello guys. What is up everybody? Welcome to another Q&A. This is the Q&A Reigns Supreme Edition, episode 100 and something. How's it going everyone? Hope you've had a great weekend or you're having a great weekend. Got another versus episode today. Just one this time. Hello everybody! Hello! I think we got some kind of glitch here. Something always happens. Something always happens here. Always happens. It's probably my fault. It's probably my fault. So, how are you guys? Hope you're having a great weekend. Did I already say that? You probably missed it. I don't know. We got some kind of delay here. Anyway, music's too damn loud. Let's turn it down a bit. This is from Time Stalkers. Nobody played that game. That's a roguelike crossover turn-based RPG on the Dreamcast, featuring characters from Alondra and from Landstalker. No, not Alondra. Alondra. More like characters from Landstalker and yeah, Darkstalkers too, I think. Nobody cares about this game and it's not great, to be honest. But, you know, it's got some decent music on it. Some decent tunes like this one, you know. The main protagonist is Sword. Now this is a game most of you probably already know, right? Atelier Ryza, the one that shot the series, catapulted the series into worldwide success. I mean, it was already kind of successful, worldwide even, with the release of Rorona. Rorona was surprisingly successful. I mean, relatively speaking, of course. And then Ryza came along and now everybody's a fan of Atelier, even people who weren't fans of Atelier. I've always been a fan of Atelier. Atelier. I think it's pronounced Atelier. The R is silent. Atelier. What's up, everybody? We got another versus video today. The last one, Star Ocean versus Tales of Arise. While live, it was a blast. I think some of you loved that idea. It was cool. It's okay, you know. The video on my main channel didn't do very well in views. Actually, it was a failure, you know. But considering the type of video it is, it's a small video and most people don't care about this. And obviously, YouTube shadow banned me, and it's probably for the rest of my life until someone else takes over and removes the mafia. So, yeah, I was wondering this morning. I was like, should we continue this? Yeah, we'll continue this. It's a fun idea, but we're only gonna do one video per Q&A, not two. Two seems like too much, and we lost a lot of time in the previous Q&A just talking about that. And I know you guys wanna talk about different things and different topics and shit, so yeah, one per Q&A sounds more reasonable. Will I still continue uploading these videos on my main channel? Probably, yeah. I think so, you know, it's just like maybe once a week. Just like an extra video or something. Maybe the series, maybe it will become a series, maybe the series will pick up. I don't know, at some point. But even if it doesn't, you know, it's okay, it's something extra, right? Like my streams. Like I've been streaming a lot for the past couple of months. 3-4 times a week. And each time seems to be like a new game, something I've never streamed before, you know, and yeah, you know, something extra. I'm still gonna continue doing my 2 regular videos every week, and this is just extra content. So yeah, I think it's gonna work out. So let's begin with your damn questions. Have you seen the recent trailer of Claire Obscure Expedition 33? No, I have no idea what that is, man. What is it, like an sounds like a survival horror game or something? What is it? Why do I see angel number 000 but followed by 999? I hate that. I just want to see 000. What? The hell are you talking about, man? Metal Wolf. Thanks a bunch, man. I got your message on PayPal. Your request has been granted. I will stream that game tomorrow. Tomorrow at my usual time, 5:30 p.m. How's that? Duck Upon Kingdom Connect. I think it's called Connect. Yeah, right? This is Tales of Legendia music, people. More respect for this game. Hello, Erick, Landon. Thank you for your awesome channel. You're welcome. Thank you for being an awesome fan. I'd like to request you stream the game Duck Upon Kingdom Connect for the Nintendo Switch. I don't think that game came out on PlayStation, but I do have the game on Switch. I reviewed it last year, and I never streamed it, so yeah. Nice one, man. Thanks for the donation, and your request has been granted. I will stream that game tomorrow. It's gonna be a fun game. The hell? Today's Father's Day. Today's Father's Day. Any fathers here? Any dads? I'm not. I don't have any kids. But I do have a dad, and I will see him today. We'll celebrate his day today. Loud music, right? Those violins hit hard, man. So, Clear Obscure Expedition. So, what the hell is that, people? Turn-based RPG, check it out. Okay, I will. I will right now. Clear. Why is it missing 2 E's? Clear Obscure Expedition 33. So this is gonna be on PlayStation 5, Windows, and Xbox Series X. Developed by Sandfall Interactive. Groundbreaking turn-based RPG with unique real-time mechanics, making battles more immersive and addictive than ever. I don't know, man. This looks pretty Western-ish. Yeah. This totally looks like a Western RPG. It's some kind of indie game. Yeah, I'm looking at the screenshots here, and the girl, she's a redhead, and she looks pretty. Because you know, nowadays they want to get rid of pretty women in video games. So, I don't know, man. I don't trust modern games at all whatsoever for obvious reasons. Every single game has an agenda. It seems to me like everything modern in movies, shows, just like Minty said, everybody's just a chess piece attacking each other's politics. That's what he said, and I agree. I mean, I don't know about this game, man. I mean, you guys are excited for it, that's cool. I stopped getting excited for any video game whatsoever in existence from now on. It's just I'm so tired of agendas, man. Anyway, so what do you think about SMT5? Yeah, I feel like it was not as good as Nocturne or 4. I felt like in some areas it was superior to Nocturne and 4, while in others it was weaker. I think, for example, in story, it's weaker, definitely weaker. In like characters, voice acting included in English and Japanese, it was weaker. You know, Nocturne and 4 are far superior in terms of story, characters, and the Japanese and English dub. To be honest, SMT5, the English dub was kind of like, it only made the story worse. I've always said this, that the story in SMT5 is not bad. It's not as bad as they make it out to be, but it's not that great either. You know, it's just good, decent, entertaining, and that's it. Doesn't hold a candle to the stories in Nocturne and 4. So, in terms of music, it's on par. It's actually that great, you know. I think Nocturne and 4 are a little bit better, you know, but the music in 5 just didn't disappoint. We can't compare the graphics because they're different consoles and different generations, right? I think 5 being... I haven't played Vengeance, which came out a few days ago, so I'm guessing it looks awesome on the PS5, right? But the original Switch version versus Nocturne on PS2 or 4 on the 3DS, I mean, those games look better, you know, they could have done better. But 5 looks beautiful on Switch, you know, no complaints there. And finally, gameplay is better on 5 because you got no random encounters. You don't have as many annoying puzzles and dead ends and, you know, horrible labyrinths. You do have some annoying labyrinths in 5, but not as horrible as the ones in Nocturne or even 4. You know, in terms of gameplay, I think it's a superior game. And in terms of battle mechanics, well, it's just the same, right? It never changes. They add maybe a few extra things here and there with every title, with every main title, but it's the same combat, so it's still awesome, right? But for some reason, I prefer the one in Nocturne. I like seeing my 4 characters in there and during the animations, and it's the same battle system. I can't make an argument on the battle system, man. But I think Nocturne wins by like 0.2 or something. Anyway, have you played Twin Blades of the Three Kingdoms? No. So it's not Romance of the Three Kingdoms, it's Twin Blades of the Three Kingdoms. No, I haven't played it. Oh, sorry about that, Mr. Face. What is a GBA recommended RPG? The Fire Emblem games, man. Those are my 2 favorite games on the Game Boy Advance. You can't go wrong with them, masterpieces. Oh man, I'm so behind on your question. Sorry about that. Have you heard of the Venus Blood series? Nope. Have you played the Monster Hunter Stories games? No, and I'm so glad that the physical version includes both. There's a collection with both on PlayStation 4 and Switch. That's the version I'm probably gonna get. Of course, right now it's like stupid pricey, right? But I'm gonna wait for the price to drop a bit and I'll get it. 2 games for the price of 1. Yeah, definitely, man. I'm interested. I haven't played them. I played the original on the 3DS and I played the sequel on the Switch, but only the demo. That's why I've only covered the game like once in my entire channel, because I only played the demo, but I like the demo. They are not exactly my type of games because they're more about the monster collecting. They have this Pokemon influence in there, so I probably won't be able to get that much into them or praise them in this channel, but I'm definitely getting that collection with both games. That was a great idea. That was a great idea, Capcom. Hey, what's up, Matt? Happy Sunday to you too, man. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you too. I'm not a father, but I have a father, so. I kinda hate Western RPGs and have for almost 40 years with a few exceptions, most of which were early 90s D&D and PC RPGs. Oh, okay. I don't hate Western RPGs, I like them, but I don't play most of them. Is SMT5 the best in the SMT saga? No, it's hard to pick one. I think the best is still Apocalypse, but that's just my opinion. Hey, Queen Violet, happy Father's Day to you too. So, I'm guessing you're a mom. If you have any kids, of course. I always get excited for turn-based RPGs. Well, yeah, definitely me too. I mean, I didn't care 2 fucks about Baldur's Gate 3, and I never will. But it's a turn-based RPG, right? And there's been other Western RPG. I mean, it's rare to see Western RPGs with turn-based combat, right? I mean, that's great. Usually they're action RPGs and open-world games. Almost every single one of them. But then you got Divinity, you know, and then these Baldur's Gate, and then now this one. So, yeah. More turn-based RPGs from the Western AAA market. I mean, that's just great, right? But, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't pretend that I give a fuck about it. There's a rumor about Fantasian being announced for Switch in the next Nintendo Direct. Fingers crossed, I want to play the game. Even though the character looks kinda androgynous, and that worries me. But that's a game that came out like 3 years ago. I mean, he looks like a fanboy. But my man Wayne Cruz from Grow Lancer 2 also looks like that, so... yeah, but anyway, I mean... characters like that nowadays, they're like, 9 out of 10 have some kind of agenda behind them. Hopefully Fantasian doesn't have one. But yeah, if it's coming on Switch, thankfully, after so many years, that's exactly what we wanted. Hironobu Sakaguchi seems to have finally listened to his fans. We want his games on consoles, not on freaking phones or computer systems. You know, yeah, so I'm happy for it. If it gets a Switch release. When is the Nintendo Direct, guys? When is the next one? Anyway, let's wait till someone answers. Were you able to play Crosscode in Nintendo DS? What are you talking about, man? Crosscode? Isn't that an indie action RPG full of freaking puzzles? And it's on PS4, Switch, Windows. It's not on the Nintendo DS. You may be confusing the game with something else. But I did play the game. I own it. I own a PS4 version of it. You got NSO expansion on Switch? Like Nintendo Switch Online? No. No, man. That's just a lame-ass cash grab. No way. Thank you, Nima Propaganda. Fantasia was a lot of fun. No political nonsense at all. Well, if you say that, okay, I believe you. So yeah, now I'm excited. I hope the rumors are true. I mean, the rumors have got to be true, to be honest. I mean, Hironobu Sakaguchi needs to understand. It's time to come back to the console market. It's time. Everybody wants that. Maybe he watched my video that I did some time ago on my second channel. Remember that? He probably did. The video got like hundreds of millions of views, baby. He probably did. No, he probably didn't, but I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one complaining about that. About such a legendary video game creator, video game personality, going mobile. And all of his games for the past 10 years have been exclusive for phones. I mean, come on, man, yeah. Fantasia on Switch, at least, or any console whatsoever, makes a lot of sense. Hopefully, the rumors are true. No way, man. It might be on the 18th. That means next Tuesday, right? In 2 days. Alright, so yeah, let's see what happens with those Konami remasters too. We also need to like pay attention to that. Because they were delayed and I'm worried about that. I'm worried the translation is going to be different, you know. But we'll see. Let's just hope Konami announces them and just to get this over with. Okay? Have you heard that an emulation site called Veeam's Lair last week was forced to take down most of their games ranging from Nintendo, Soga... No, I didn't. I didn't hear about that. Thank you, Rafa on Crack. Thanks, man. So, Ark Rise Fantasia for Switch. No. We're talking about a game called Fantasian that the creator of Final Fantasy and his studio, Mistwalker, developed 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, where it was exclusive for phones, for the Apple service or whatever, something like that. And that pissed off a lot of people, you know, because they were expecting the next Hironobu Sakaguchi game on consoles. And, well, he didn't listen to anybody, and he kept the exclusivity for these phones. And now there are rumors that the game is finally coming to consoles. So we'll see what happens. I hope the rumors are true, but this is not the same game. And Ark Rise Fantasia, that's a turn-based RPG on the Switch. I mean, on the Wii. Exclusive to the Wii, by the way. But if one day we'll get that game on the Switch, that would be bonkers. That's a game that doesn't deserve to be abandoned on the Wii. Not that there's anything wrong with the Wii, but yeah, I think it's a great game. I think more people need to play it. Are you excited for the upcoming Dragon Quest 12? Nothing's been announced, and no, I'm not. To be honest, I'm not. I think Dragon Quest is dead. I mean, they will continue developing the series, but with three of the main people out of the picture, I think the series will go into a really different direction, and I'm not sure I'm excited for that. I'm scared, to be honest. Have you considered doing a SMT5 versus Persona 5 like you did with Tales of Arise versus Star Ocean? No, because I'm pretty sure Persona 5 will win by a landslide. Persona 5 is one of those games that's gonna win against almost every single JRPG in existence. I kinda knew Tales of Arise will win, but I just didn't win. I just never thought Tales of Arise will destroy Star Ocean. That was like mind-blowing, to be honest. And by the way, people, we got another versus video. Now that I have like 80 people watching, I know I'm gonna repeat myself what I said about 15 minutes ago, but I'll say it again. Yeah, we will continue making these versus videos in these Q&As. I think we're only going to do one per Q&A because two seems like kind of overwhelming. And a lot of people, you know, want to ask things about certain topics and different things. So, two versus videos is just no. I mean, I think we're going to stick to one. And plus, you know, I uploaded this Tales of Arise versus Star Ocean video. I uploaded it on my main channel. And It was a failure of a video, you know, it didn't get, I think it got like 3,700 views. Imagine 37,000, I will be like screaming in excitement. No, it got like 3,700 views, and yeah, I mean, it's a fun video, it could work, you know, as long as I get a few extra bucks for my channel. It's not gonna replace regular videos, you know me, I upload 2 regular full-fledged videos on my channel every week. I haven't stopped doing that. But it could be used as extra content, you know, something fun to do here in the Q&As, and then, you know, it doesn't take long to edit. So, yeah, I mean, I think we can continue for now. I still have the Nier Automata versus Xenoblade Chronicles video that we did last Q&A. I'll definitely upload it somewhere around this week, next week. And today we're gonna do another one. I kind of want to do it right now, but let's wait a bit. Just a bit. Did you finish Super Robot Wars Frontier Original Saga? Exceed. No, I never played the sequel, actually. I know it's fan-translated. I've never touched it. I did play the original and finished it. It's one of my favorite Nintendo DS RPGs. But no, I never finished the sequel or haven't even played it. Rocket Knight came out on PlayStation and Switch. Rocket Knight Adventures? The one with the little creature from the Sega Genesis? It's on Switch and PlayStation. Wow, that's great. I played that game on the Sega Genesis. That's a fun game. It's really hard. Really hard, man. Really hard to control the character. I think it was developed by Konami, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Rocket Knight was a fun platformer on Sega and Super Nintendo. Yeah, so it's that game, Rocket Knight Adventures, right? Anyway. I'm not playing that Phantonium. I don't play mobile games, and that's final. I think you should do a Chrono Trigger versus Final Fantasy VI. I kinda already did that, you know, but the video was unsuccessful. But it was there in my 10 the best Super Nintendo JRPGs versus my favorites. I think the video got like 10,000 views, you know, it was unsuccessful, but it's there, and that was the first place, like Chrono Trigger versus Final Fantasy VI, so I already did that, right? Nier versus Xeno. They're in different... That's also what's gonna make this little series interesting, you know. Like sometimes I'm gonna pull some... I had another one, I had my choice. It was between these two that were gonna have compete against each other today, and other two that were like... That was random. I was like, what? This versus this? That's so random, but at the same time it makes sense. But we'll leave that probably for next Sunday. Okay, thank you, Hooflong. Monster Hunter Stories 2 on Switch only has first game on disc. You mean on cartridge. 2 is a digital voucher. Okay. That's too bad, but that's kind of what they did with you remember the game White Knight Chronicles? White Knight Chronicles on the PlayStation 3. The second game was released physical with the disc. But it also included like a digital downloadable, like a DLC. And it was an HD upgrade of the first game. So yeah, this is nothing new. Companies have been doing this for a long time. So I'm kind of bummed. That's why I said before that I'm going to wait for the price to drop considerably. I'm not paying full price for that because that's, like Queen says here, that's a ripoff. I mean, come on. It should have been 2 discs or 2 cartridges, right? Or the game in both, in just one disc. The one game in one disc or in one cartridge. You know, that way you will feel like you own both games. But if the first game is going to be... I mean, if the second game is going to be like on or a DLC, you know, that's kind of a ripoff. That's why I'm going to wait for the price to drop a lot. And I'm probably going to get it on PlayStation 4. Because the Switch version is always going to be expensive. Switch version of Monster Hunter Stories 2 came out like in 2021, right? Man... That's like 2.5 years ago. More than 2, almost 2 years ago. Almost 3 years ago. And the Switch version is still $40. $45. So yeah, I'm getting this on PlayStation with both games. I do think that the second game being just a DLC is a bit of a ripoff, but it'll do if I pay like $20 for it, you know. I don't mind. East versus Xenoblade. Okay. I'll consider that. Do you prefer the 6th generation PS2 era or the 7th generation? 6th generation. I love the 7th generation. I love the PS3, but I think the PS2 era is my favorite era of all time. 5th and 6th generations are my favorites. This is from Relayer, right? Yeah, Relayer. This is a strategy RPG, kind of overlooked. PS4 and PS5 and Steam, I think. I don't know if it's on Steam or not. Kevin, I already did those 2 videos like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. They're called What the Hell Happened to Breath of Fire and What the Hell Happened to Legend of Legaia. Those are all videos. I don't blame you for not knowing that I already did those videos, but they're there if you want to look them up. Hey, Maskess. East versus Kingdom Hearts. Don't expect me to do versus videos on series that I don't really care for. Like East, I love, I'm a big fan, but Kingdom Hearts, I mean, what can I say? What am I going to be able to say? I mean, I'm not going to make an argument on a series that I'm not a fan of, you know? So, yeah. Thoughts on the Final Fantasy IX remake? Hopefully it's true, but hopefully they don't alter it or change it drastically for the bad. Thoughts on Sea of Stars? I only played the demo and I really liked it, but it was a pretty short demo, so I don't have a strong opinion on it. I covered the game though. If you want to see my full opinion on it, there's a video that I did called 5 RPGs I Need to Talk About Part 3, Episode 3. Look it up, and I covered the game in there. JRPGs have been pretty healthy on modern consoles too. Yeah, but they're starting to get a lot of agendas, and the mafia has taken over them, so I don't know. Did you miss gaming conventions like E3? I've never been there. Why would I miss it? Have you heard of Celia the Eternal? No. Do you think Square Enix will use Toyotaro as the artist for future Dragon Quest games? He's the main artist of the manga version of Dragon Ball Super. He was handpicked by Toriyama to be his successor. Then probably, yeah. I haven't played Vengeance, SMT5 Vengeance, and I don't really care that much for it. Or about it. Hopefully Final Fantasy IX Remake stays turn-based, hopefully. No turn-based, no buy from me. Same, kinda, yeah. Or I'll get it when it's like $10, you know, many years later. Do you remember Star Tropics for the NES? Yes, I do, and I played it. I never finished it, but I got far into it, like halfway through. Pretty fun game. I used to own a copy of it, but I got rid of it for some reason. It was one of the many games that I couldn't bring back with me when I was living in Canada. I had to leave it behind. But yeah, Star Tropics a pretty good game. What do you think about the Sweet Baby asking for protection money from Wukong developer? I always knew that this is a big, extremely powerful mafia, and SBI is just a small piece of the pie, you know? I mean, we're seeing this everywhere. Governments, companies, corporations, banks, even banks, you know, everybody's promoting this thing, these political agendas, this propaganda. You know, it's gotten so goddamn big that, I mean, last year I was like, this is a mafia, man. This is something extremely powerful, extremely evil, and yeah. I've yet to meet people from these communities that is against it. Hopefully I will someday. I know there's gotta be people out there who are like, with their eyes open, that are like, I know what they're doing, they're taking advantage of us, you know, and they're only making people hate us even more, right? So, I think this is a mafia, man. And I think it's something extremely powerful and extremely dangerous. And that, what happened with Black Myth Wukong, proves it. That's your evidence right there. Like, people like me have been saying this for years. Like, this is something fucked up, man, that it's not just one company or a few government. No, it's a worldwide explosion of companies and enterprises and corporations and shareholders, you know, a lot. I mean, you got the really big guns like Google, like Amazon, like Disney, like, and they don't seem to care. You know, Disney's losing a lot of money and they don't give a shit. Why? Why would you lose money on purpose? Because there's a fucking mafia behind it, right? Come on, this is, I mean, and now you got your evidence right there, people. For all of you who didn't believe what people like me were saying before, there's your fucking evidence. Now, we already knew this. And now it's out, exposed by this Chinese developer. This isn't new for me, okay? But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be new for a lot of you. You were still giving this progressivism the benefit of the doubt. Okay, now there's the evidence in your face that they're a big fucking evil, twisted mafia. There you go. And Kiryu is in charge. No, man. Kiryu will fight against it, probably. It's BlackRock. Yeah, it's companies like that. They are extremely powerful and rich. And thanks again, Nemo. Extremely powerful and rich and whatnot. And they have a lot of stocks in several companies like Netflix, for example. That's why a lot of companies, sometimes you kind of see them like they're against it, they're trying to go against it, but eventually they come back to the same political agendas, right? And it's that. It's because these companies like BlackRock, you know, have them by the balls. Real tight. So there you go, people. And now YouTube is gonna shadow ban me even more for saying this. Yeah. Politics have destroyed my YouTube channel, unfortunately, and many others out there. The Alphabet Mafia has many names, man. The woke mafia, the alphabet mafia, the whatever you want to call it, mafia, you know, it's the same shit. 100 viewers, 104. Should we start? Yes, says Julie. Do you want the versus video to start? It's only going to take like half an hour, probably less. We'll be back to your goddamn questions after that, I promise. So should we start? This is a really interesting one, okay? Yeah. I want to answer that question later about the Edge of Eternity. Okay, yeah, oh, should we begin? Sorry, Jordan. Yeah, should we begin? Versus time? Alright, guys. Alright, everybody. Got these two classics. We're going retro now. Last time we did a couple of modern JRPGs. Okay, we're going retro now. These two legendary games. These two are extremely beloved. Obviously, when I show them, you're already going to know my answer. So my own pick is pretty predictable. You know, but I still like to see your arguments. And I still would like to see who wins. Because last time, we got Nier Automata versus Xenoblade Chronicles. And I was damn sure Nier Automata will win by a landslide. And no. So. Oh, we're listening to some Nocturne music. Damn it. Maybe I should have Nocturne. Maybe I should change my mind and have Nocturne compete against something else, right? Nah, let's stick to this. So, let's do the poll. Both your picks lost, Eric. Yeah, I know, but this one, this is a good one. No, not Chrono Cross is not there. Wait, what's going on here? Okay, so are you ready? Are you ready? Today we're gonna have the legendary Suikoden 2 versus the Legend of Dragoon. Oh yeah, seems like an obvious choice, right? Like an obvious win, but no. There's a lot of fans for this baby right here. So, Suikoden 2 versus the Legend of Dragoon. How's that, people? Two extremely legendary and beloved and classic turn-based RPG. Fans have been begging for a long time for them to be remastered. Suikoden 2 is finally going to happen this very same year. Legend of Dragoon, I don't know when, but maybe someday. Maybe someday. This is a game you can find on PS1, also on PSP, also on PS Vita, and also on PS3 digital. And you can also find this game on the PlayStation 4 and 5. It's a port with upscale graphics, and it looks freaking beautiful. At the beginning, it kind of got a lot of crap because there was a lot of technical issues, but those technical issues were fixed. So this game is not just on PS1 and PS3 digital, it's also on PS4 and PS5. So you got no excuse. Don't come here and say, no, I can't play them because they're freaking expensive on PS1, I can't find them. No, man, you have a lot of places to play them. So let's do this. So, Suikoden 2 versus the Legend of Dragoon. No, this is not Q&A. Start ball. Suikoden 2 versus the Legend of Dragoon. Suikoden 2, the Legend of Dragoon. 3, 2, 1, go! Start voting. Alright, let's see what happens. Valkyria Chronicles music while we wait. And it's time to start making your arguments that I will read, and they might be turned into a video. Wow. Suikoden 2, man, he's winning. I thought the Legend of Dragoon will be like really high, but no. Suikoden 2 is winning. Obviously, you already know my answer. I'm the biggest fucking Suikoden nerd out there, so of course I'm gonna pick Suikoden 2. It's predictable. But man, it looks like finally my pick is gonna win. I lost in the previous two versus videos, and now I'm gonna win? But what about you guys? Someone's gotta stand for the Legend of Dragoon. Okay, you gotta pick a winner, man. That's an arguable argument. So High New Zero Tester says, man, I loved both of these, but I think Suikoden 2 is marginally better because it has decent cast and story, while gameplay-wise Legend of Dragoon is way better. Oof, you have no idea how strongly I disagree with that. But okay, that's your argument, I respect that. I'll make my point later. Kevin Lewis says, Suikoden 2 emphasizes that more... What? More is better? What's ES? Explain that to me before I read your argument. Wait, what emphasizes that more is better? What do you mean? More characters? Ooh, Legend of Dragoon is getting there, man. Oh. But what are you talking about? You mean like more characters is better? Terry says, Legend of Dragoon because its combat system is better in my opinion. Never liked Suikoden's combat. Also, Legend of Dragoon is so much better from an artistic standpoint if you ask me. Okay. Okay. You're biased towards Suikoden 2? Okay. So you're gonna pick Suikoden 2? Okay. Suikoden 2 is the best game in the series. That's questionable, most people will agree with that, but I think Suikoden 5 is the better game, but Suikoden 2 is the most popular. So, yeah, it's one of the best, let's leave it at that. More characters in Suikoden if they are done right. Okay, so, back to that. Kevin Lewis says Suikoden 2 emphasizes that more characters is better, and what I mean by that, basically every star of Destiny has their own interesting stories, with no fluff in between. Okay, I respect that argument, and of course I'm in favor of Suikoden 2, but don't you think that Legend of Dragoon has more, a more traditional style of characters, you know, and there's a lot of development for them, whereas in Suikoden 2 it's like Chrono Cross or the Fire Emblem series. There's only like 5 or 10 characters that matter, and the rest of the characters are like just kind of there. Somebody could argue that, you know, I won't do that because I don't believe in that, but anyway, but thanks for siding with Suikoden 2. Legend of Dragoon is the underdog for this round. I can't believe it, to be honest. Yeah, man, this 2 was like... initially it was going to be Legend of Dragoon. Suikoden 2 versus another game that I won't reveal. But I was like, nah, not today. Legend of Dragoon. I just had this feeling of Legend of Dragoon. Basically, Legend of Dragoon is basically medieval of Power Rangers, so you're gonna choose Legend of Dragoon over Suikoden 2, MGS mega fan, Metal Gear Solid mega fan. Radical Dreamer says Legend of Dragoon was one of the most unique JRPGs I ever played. It also hit some nostalgic bells with a single note screenshots, which Suikoden lacks, because it's not so unique. Wow, okay. Again, that's another argument I strongly disagree with. Suikoden, in my opinion, is one of the most unique video games ever made, but that's just my opinion. Brian H198. 1988. There's a song by Epperly called You're So 1988. You probably don't know it. Anyway, so Brian H1988 says, Legend of Dragoon wins for me, besides that because of my strong desire for that sort of combat system to make a comeback. I want to see more of that style so much. Okay. So you think Final Fantasy VII is the best RPG? Yeah, I'm not sure about... I have some ideas for the Final Fantasy titles. There are some Final Fantasy games that I would like to have compete against other games, but it's just Final Fantasy will win every time because of popularity. Imagine if this would have been Final Fantasy VII versus Suikoden 2, or versus any other JRPG on PS1. Final Fantasy VII is going to win because it's the most popular game. And we already went through that with Tales of Arise versus Star Ocean, which I didn't think it was going to happen. I really thought the competition will be like pretty even, but no, we saw Tales of Arise destroying Star Ocean because it's the most popular game. So I really need to be careful about these competitions, right? Because any Persona game or any Final Fantasy game or Dragon Quest, it's always gonna win just because it's the popular game. A lot of people are gonna vote for those games because they didn't play the other ones, So I don't think it's a cool competition. Rosland RP Gacha says, I believe Suikoden 2 has had many sequels and its story is very engrossing, while Legend of Dragoon has had none. And Suikoden 2 is much less linear than Legend of Dragoon, and wins in all categories but music. So Legend of Dragoon wins in everything except music, or was it the other way around? I'm not sure. Which one is the better game for you? Suikoden 2 wins. Okay, so gotcha, yeah. Suikoden 2 is superior in everything except the music. Well, again, I disagree. I think Suikoden has a better soundtrack, but okay. Okay, Melphis Sky says, Suikoden 2 has some really good characters, decent gameplay, and has a villain so vile, you are cheering when he finally gets what's coming to him. So, okay. Nice argument. I did play Eiyuden Chronicles and I reviewed it in a video last Monday. Okay, Jordan Young says, what? I missed the first thing you said. Okay, Jordan Young says, Suikoden 2 is more popular, yes, but it's by virtue of its quality and how strong the word of mouth was. Legend of Dragoon had all the ads and promos back in the year 2000, sold more, nostalgia is stronger, yet Suikoden 2 is more known and liked today. Why is that? I bake it down to the fact that Suikoden 2 stood the test of time via its quality despite less sales and nostalgia, whereas Legend of Dragoon is ass. Okay, not ass, but still. I couldn't agree more. That you're stating some objective facts in there. That's right, that's true. Legend of Dragoon sold more and was heavily advertised, whereas Suikoden 2 was the underdog. But eventually, Suikoden 2 aged much better, whereas Legend of Dragoon didn't age very well. I agree with that. So, yeah. Nice argument, man. Compelling argument. Pretty objective-ish. Ryan says, Suikoden 2 is my pick. The combat system in The Legend of Dragoon was very frustrating, especially the timing mechanics. So we got a detractor of the battle system that a lot of people have been praising. If I don't answer your questions unrelated to the topic right now, ask them later. We got about like 15 minutes and then we'll go back to your damn questions. How's the poll doing? Oh, check it out. Suikoden 2, 57%, Legend of Dragoon 43. It's almost even. I mean, I think Suikoden 2 is gonna win, but anything can happen, man. So Legend of Dragoon is getting there. Our project says, I prefer Suikoden 2 because story is more political, not the teenager saving the world, and the most important music in Suikoden is more memorable. Okay. Kevin says, Legend of Dragoon is better growing up because of its compelling gameplay. There is so much interaction and thought put into it. Also, Legend of Dragoon has better visuals, music, and gameplay. Okay. You saw my playthrough of Suikoden 2. You remember that really fucked up playthrough? All my efforts for nothing just to be destroyed by a glitch and a mistake at the end. You're waiting for the HD collections. Yeah, okay. Indivisible, I don't think it's similar to Legend of Dragoon. If you want to see a combat system similar to Legend of Dragoon, go with this indie RPG called Le Grand Legacy. The combat is basically a love letter to the Legend of Dragoon. Le Grand Legacy. Look it up. It's a good indie game, a good indie RPG, but Indivisible is like, no man, Indivisible is more on the Valkyrie profile level of combat, you know. I wouldn't compare Indivisible to Legend of Dragoon. That's just how I see it, yeah. What's LOL? League of Legends? I'm pretty sure you meant Legend of Legaia. Super Mario RPG is also a bit about timing, you're right. I was gonna do a versus with Super Mario RPG. Last night I was like, it's gotta be Super Mario RPG versus something. But no, I changed my mind this morning and I was like, nah, these two. Have you played Scarlet Nexus? I'm about to cover it again in an upcoming video. Any more arguments? We got a few minutes. Super Mario RPG wins every year, all year. Hot take, Breath of Fire 4 is way better than Suikoden 2 and Chrono Cross. You know what? Obviously I disagree, but initially this was going to be the Legend of Dragoon versus Breath of Fire 4. Where I was like, not a lot of people played Breath of Fire 4, so I think Dragoon is gonna win by a landslide. So I think it was just better, Dragoon versus Suikoden 2. For some reason it felt right, you know. And to be completely honest with you, I mean, I put these two games Because I knew for a fact that I will personally pick Suikoden 2. This is a no-brainer for me. I love this game. I love Dragoon, but Suikoden 2, I mean, come on, right? But had it been The Legend of Dragoon versus Breath of Fire 4, fuck, I wouldn't be able to choose. I don't know about you guys, but fuck. No, I can't. Oh my god, no. We should have done that instead. But what's done is done. Oof, yeah. Alright, people, so any more arguments? There's 78 votes so far. Suikoden 2 still winning anyway. You think Legend of Dragoon is the one of those games that will definitely be benefited from getting a remake or remaster? Yeah. I think the closest you can get to a remaster is the port Sony did last year of The Legend of Dragoon on PS4 and PS5, and it looks great, looks fantastic, you know. I don't think Sony's ever going to remaster this game, that's a fact. They already did that. Why will they do that? If they remaster the game, then no one's gonna buy that port anymore. Never. So I think it's a guarantee The Legend of Dragoon is not going to be remastered. Okay, so the best we can hope for is some kind of remake. And a remake will be better as long as it's faithful to the original version. Union Gamer says, I picked Suikoden 2 for 2 reasons. 1, I never played The Legend of Dragoon despite all the positive feedback. So that argument is invalid. You need to have played both. But anyway, so Suikoden 2's music is my kind of jam. Ooh yeah, Suikoden 2 music is a masterpiece. One of my 10 favorite soundtracks of all time, I believe. Love it, man. The Legend of Dragoon's battle theme is really good. Sadly, the battles are slow, clunky, and repetitive. A bit. Suikoden 2 has a better, faster interface. Yeah. Horion says, Suikoden 2 has a great story and so many good characters. It has improved from Suikoden 1, memorable cutscenes. Okay, not the biggest, greatest argument, but if that's your pick because of that, I respect that. No, Suikoden 2 is not stuck on the PS1. You can buy it digital on the PlayStation Store, on PlayStation 3, and PlayStation Vita. Okay? And yeah, we got the upcoming remaster. So it's not stuck on PS1, man. It's not an exclusive on the PS1. The 2D art in Suikoden 2 actually aged better than some 3D PS1 games. Couldn't agree more. Okay. Wait a second. I think this is a two-part argument. So High New Zero Tester says that the setting and the aesthetic... What? Wait. So High New Zero, you picked Legend of Dragoon, right? I need more context. So you're picking the Legend of Dragoon. That's your pick. So I can make sense of your posts. Any RPG will struggle against Suikoden 2 and 5. Against Suikoden 2, a lot of RPGs will struggle. Suikoden 5, no, because nobody played it. Sadly. It's my favorite in the series, you know that, but Suikoden 2 will probably lose against almost any JRPG out there because nobody played it. It's exclusive on the PS2, it's expensive as hell, it's rare. A lot of people miss the game, man. We're about to end. Any other arguments? Probably Melphis. A Legend of Dragoon remake will be destroyed by agendas. I refuse to pick one from the other, says Hong Luong. Star Ocean 3 versus Tales of the Abyss. That's a good one, you know. Now that we were just listening to Star Ocean music right now. Star Ocean 3 versus Tales of the Abyss. That's a good one. I think Abyss will win, probably. But that's a good one. Maybe one day. So come on. A few more minutes, people, to make your arguments on Suikoden 2 versus The Legend of Dragoon. Are there any dark, edgy JRPGs besides SMT you could do a versus for? Sure, Shadow Hearts, Parasite Eve, Kudelka, Code Vein, the Nier games. We already did one, Nier Automata versus Xenoblade Chronicles. You know, Xenoblade Chronicles isn't exactly edgy, dark, you know, but Nier Automata is. You want an idle battle between Omega Quintet versus Tokyo Mirage Session? Not over my dead body, man. So I want to try to make sense out of this argument. Well, I guess it's time, you know. I'm just gonna wrap it up. How many votes are there? 83 votes. Can we get it to 85? Although come on, 85 votes and I'll end the voting. It's Suikoden 2 already won. Yeah! Some 3D games will probably didn't age well on the PS1, but some of them did age well. Tactics Ogre versus Final Fantasy Tactics. Final Fantasy Tactics will win by a landslide, man. It's just the most popular game. Like I said before, you know, I'm not sure about doing versus episodes with the big guns like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Persona. It's just, I mean, they're gonna win no matter what. Oh, it's like the Tales series. I think a lot of RPGs versus a lot of Tales games, they won't stand a chance. I mean, it's just popularity. I gotta be more creative here, you know. Fire Emblem versus Advance Wars. Like 2 series against each other. I don't know, probably Fire Emblem will win because Advance Wars there's just like 4 games and Fire Emblem there's like 15 already. Huh. Okay, Roslan Gacha, I agree with you. I'm a bigger Tactics Ogre fan than an FFT fan, of course. Well, yeah, most people will pick FFT. You know that. Any 16? Okay, I'll take that into consideration. Stella Glow versus Radiant Historia. Radiant Historia will win. It's the most popular game. Code Vein and Scarlet Nexus. That will be a fun one. I think Scarlet Nexus will win, but yeah, it will be a fun one. Okay, so no one else is gonna... Okay, we got 90 votes. Let's end the poll. And we got the results right here, man. So... I guess it's kind of uneven, you know. Why does it always show 90? I mean, that's 99%. The math is wrong. Anyway. So, the poll is over. Suikoden 2 won with 58%. And The Legend of Dragoon lost with 42%. Based on 90 votes. That's awesome because as much I loved The Legend of Dragoon, I'm a much bigger fan of Suikoden 2. And you guys know that. So, the outcome for me personally was predictable. So... Suikoden 2 is a game I've covered to death, to super death in this channel, so I don't have a lot to say that I haven't already said in a million videos, so I'll be quick. I think Suikoden 2 is the better game because, number one, it aged much better. The Legend of Dragoon aged like shit, to be honest. It's still worth playing, it's still, I mean, the remastered, the port, the upscaled port, well, the port with upscaled graphics of The Legend of Dragoon looks fantastic on PS4 and PS5. And I do recommend that version, but still, Suikoden 2 is aged well, and it didn't even need a port and with upscale graphics. Sure, it's getting a remaster, and the remaster looks beautiful, of course, but we're comparing the original versions here together, PS1 versions. And Suikoden 2 is just a better game, first and foremost because of that. It's just so much fun to play, whereas Legend of Dragoon, there's a lot of puzzles, a lot of annoying areas, a lot of random encounters. Battles take longer. I love the combat system in The Legend of Dragoon, don't take me wrong, but I think Suikoden 2 had a more compelling system because it combines 6 characters instead of 3, and you got different runes and different possibilities to make happen, different combination attacks and stuff like that, whereas the Legend of Dragoon relies only on the creative idea. It is creative of the timing attacks, and that's it. And transforming into the Dragoons, which is someone was saying this is the 90s Power Rangers, the medieval Power Rangers, which is funny. It's a funny comparison, but about I think the Legend of Dragoon is still a great battle system, but Suikoden 2 has 3 battle mechanics, so it can compete. And the 3 battle mechanics in Suikoden are much more fun, more engaging, and more compelling than the one in Legend of Dragoon. So I also believe that in terms of story, they're kind of on equal terms, but they're very different, you know. Sure, both revolve around a specific war, but Legend of Dragoon is a much more fantasy setting than Suikoden 2. And honestly, in terms of setting, I couldn't really decide. Both are just as fantastic. But in terms of storytelling and narrative, I prefer Suikoden 2 because it's more mature. I'm not saying Dragoon doesn't have any mature themes. It does, and some dark stuff here and there. Rose is one of my favorite video game characters from the PS1 era of all time. I fucking love Rose passionately. But I think Suikoden 2 is more memorable because of what the characters go through, what happens near the end, and the decision making and the, not roots, but the different endings and what's going on in there, the tragedy involved in some of the bad endings. You know, it's just a much more appealing story for me. It's more tragic, it's more political, it's darker. Whereas the Legend of Dragoon has this rich lore. Yes, the lore is amazing in Dragoon, but I still think the lore wins in Suikoden 2. But that's cheating because Suikoden has a lore that's been expanded across several games in the series. So, yeah. Suikoden 2 wins in the lore, but because it has an advantage. So it's unfair to compare the lore. So if we forget about Suikoden 2 being called Suikoden 2 and it's just Suikoden, that's it, and there's no other games in the series, I think the lore wins in Legend of Dragoon. It's just more interesting in what happened before. When you learn what happened before, it's just more interesting. The lore wins in Legend of Dragoon, actually. But I'm more of... I tend to give preference to something like Suikoden 2. Because it's more realistic, you know? It's not that fantastic. And while I love fantasy, I think I still prefer Suikoden 2. And in terms of music, I think the Dragoon soundtrack is amazing. I love it, but Suikoden 2 is so memorable. And I did an episode in the podcast, a podcast episode based on Suikoden 2, and I explained there why the music is so special, because you get all these places you visit, these towns, these areas, or these battle themes, you know, that are so diverse. And then you go in there and you listen to them and you're like, I mean, you immediately notice the music. And in Dragoon, most of the time, there are some really memorable themes too, but most of the time you kind of don't pay attention to the music. Or it's just there in the background, like it's good, you're enjoying it, but it's not that special. It doesn't make you stop, most of the time. Sometimes you do stop and you're like, oh my god, this theme is awesome. But most of the time you're like, you just keep playing. And whereas in Suikoden 2, half of the time you just stop, you're like, this music, what the hell? It's awesome. So I think the Suikoden 2 soundtrack is just more memorable and more iconic than the one in the Legend of Dragoon. And that's it. That's why I believe Suikoden 2 is the better game, and I'm so glad it won in the poll. So what do you guys think? Say whatever you want to say right now in the chat, or leave a comment for the video when it's up. So thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends, and see you next time. That's just for the video, I'm not leaving, I'm still here. Don't leave. That's it. That was Suikoden 2 versus Dragoon. Oh man, what a contest. It was a battle. The Neo Automata versus Xenoblade was a fiercer battle, but this one was fierce. I mean, it was almost even. That was a great versus episode, guys. Thanks for participating. That's it. Back to your goddamn questions. Matt, which one will be your favorite? Suikoden 2 or Legend of Dragoon? You gotta pick, man. Diverse is a bad word. Oh, yeah. It's a bad word nowadays, you're right. They ruined that word. And be grateful I didn't use the argument that Suikoden 2 has more characters, and I love large cast of characters, which is why I'm a big fan of Trails, Fire Emblem, Suikoden, the series, I didn't use that argument. I'm not gonna use it because it's cliche. I don't know, I tried to say something different that I haven't said 10 million times already. What are your thoughts on Twitch? I've talked about Twitch before, and there's some ups and downs. The biggest up is that you can stream naturally without having to worry most of the time as with copyright claims. In YouTube, I stream in fear every single time. Every time I'm always worrying, hopefully I won't get a copyright claim because of the music, or because of the opening, or because of this scene, or this event or something, And on Twitch, you can just do whatever you want and you don't get a copyright claim. I've played games that got a copyright claim on YouTube and they didn't get a copyright claim on Twitch. So Twitch is better. It's just a more relaxing website to stream on. And you don't have... So YouTube is more about how many people are watching and how many donations you're gonna get and how much ad revenue you're gonna get. Whereas Twitch, you rely a little bit more on the subscriptions. Like if you got one person that subscribed to your channel, to your Twitch channel, that person already paid for an entire month. And if, 10 people already paid for 1 month, then you know how much money you're gonna get no matter what. So you worry a bit less about money on Twitch. But it's true, you do make less money on Twitch. Not only because of that, but also because Twitch keeps 50% of what you make. Half of what you make. Which is really fucked up, man. YouTube only keeps 30% and that's a lot. But Twitch gets half of it. That's the worst thing about Twitch by far. How much money they keep from you. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But everything else is fine. Overall, which is the better platform for streaming? Twitch. Definitely. But I build my audience on YouTube. I've been streaming on YouTube since forever. More people show up to my streams than on Twitch. On Twitch, I came back to Twitch since October last year, and it just hasn't worked for me. There's always like 2 people watching, 10, a maximum of 10. The most people I've seen watching me on Twitch have been like 10. So you can imagine the chat is extremely quiet. Sometimes I stream for over an hour and no one says a word. So it's for me it's more engaging to stream on YouTube right nowadays. But I will prefer to stream on Twitch. It's just more relaxing. It's better. I mean, the model for streamers is just better. It's just better, man. Twitch is the better platform for streaming, and you don't have to worry about algorithms. Like, my streams are failing. They're getting like 2,000 views, so YouTube's not gonna recommend my channel anymore because the algorithm's gonna judge me based on that. Twitch doesn't do that to you, so Twitch is by far the better platform for streaming. Will Shining Force 2 versus Langrisser 2 work for versus debate? No, I don't think so. Shining Force 2 will win, and the voting will be like, no one's barely played those games, man. Unfortunately. Those are forgotten. I don't think it's a good idea to put forgotten gems. There are more hidden gems than anything. Shining Force was a big deal, and everybody knows the series, but how many people have played Shining Force 2? Or Langrisser 2? It won't work, man. It will work for people like you and me, who have played the games and are big fans of those games. And I will personally give priority to Langrisser 2 will be my pick, but that wouldn't work. Have you played any Sega Saturn JRPGs? I have played a bunch of them, but I've never finished a single one of them. And I didn't play any of them for like hours and hours. Most of them I just play them for like an hour, half an hour, That's why I rarely talk about them. Have you heard about the Lollipop Chainsaw Remaster getting both an uncensored and censored toggle? Like how Bayonetta 3 got an uncensored toggle on day 1? No, I did know that Lollipop Chainsaw was getting remastered, but I didn't know about the toggle feature. That's interesting. That's a good way to please both sides. Like, hey, you fucking wokies want the game censored? Here's your censored version. Oh, half of the world doesn't want it censored? Here's the option to have it uncensored. Problem solved. But the problem is these people want to destroy these people and their beliefs and their ideals and their opinions and anything they stand for. So it's tyranny and oppression, and it's not gonna stop. So while I think it's a great solution for games to be like that, like I remember recently I played the game Yakuza Kiwami, the remake of the original PS2 game. I just beat that game a few days ago. Okay, and you know, there was an option to reduce the gore. To reduce the gore or to leave it at normal. You know, that was a great idea. I was like, yeah, I mean, problem solved. But these people aren't satisfied with having options. They fucking hate us. And they want to see us ruined. You know, so that's not gonna work for the wokies, man. Toggle options, it's not gonna work for them. These people want to destroy gaming, man. And creativity and free speech. And freedom of expression, let alone free speech, free creativity, freedom, free will, freedom in general. These people are the 1984 mafia, man. The party, the Big Brother party. Fuckers. Final Fantasy V versus Dragon Quest V. I could never do that because I barely play those games. Final Fantasy V, I think I did put like 7 hours into it, but Dragon Quest V died at the first boss and never went back to it. Have you played Blood Rain? Isn't that a game that was... There's two games with a sexy redhead lady on PS2 and GameCube? Are those the games you're referring to? If so, I haven't played them, but I know them. Skies of Arcadia versus Grandia 2. Could work. Yeah, for a future episode. Bravely Default versus E7. I'm not sure. I think Bravely will win because it's the most popular game. But then if you put Bravely versus Is8, Is8 will win. Nah. Persona 5 versus Dragon Quest 11? How about Dragon Quest 11 versus Is8? Right? I mean, right? Persona 5 versus Dragon Quest. For some reason, I think Persona 5 will win. For some reason, I don't know why. Do you think a video about why Yuri is the character that carries Tales of Vesperia? We already talked about that a long time ago. And I don't think he carries Vesperia by himself. Sure, he's a big reason why the story and the characters, the cast is awesome in there. Take Yuri out and Vesperia is not the best cast, but it's still an interesting cast, so no. Best RPG from Kemco? In my opinion, Revenant Saga or Mystic Chronicles. Either of those two, but I haven't played a single Kemco RPG for the past 10 years. I mean, released within the past 10 years. You know, I haven't played a single one of them. You're asking the wrong person. Best waifus in the East series. Ooh, here we go. The waifu topic. It's just, for some reason, the first woman that came to my mind was Laxia. I don't know why. Probably because I don't know why. Everybody's gonna pick Dana. I love Dana. She's gorgeous and sexy and whatnot, but for some reason I Laxia, man. She's so hot. But what else? You got, what's the name of the girl from Memories of Celceta? Karna. What a weird name. Karna. I love her, man. She's so, I don't know, she's so sexy and gorgeous and cool. There's something about her, man. I love Karna, man. Laxia versus Karna, that's a good contest. I love the twins in the first Ys games, Ys 1 and 2. The twins, I forget their names. I just love her, man. I just love those two. They're so different and there's... Oh, man, I love them. I love the twins in the first Ys games. What else? Ys 3's got this, what's her name? Maria? No. Well, she's kind of like okay-ish. I'm going through games, okay, so Ys 3, no. I forget the name of the girl, you know, she's the old Infelgana, but I forget the name of the game. So next is Ys 4, it's Celceta, right? So Karna, I already picked Karna, but there's another one in Celceta, the one with the blue hair. Oh man, I love her, man. love. Wow, I think Celceta has the best waifus. I really do think Memories of Celceta has got the best waifus in terms of sexiness and appeal and visual appeal and stuff like that. Because in terms of personality, nothing beats the girls in Is 9. Especially Aprilis and Doll. The other two are kind of like okay-ish. You know, Yuna, the cowgirl, someone saying, the one with the big breasts. I like her. I mean, obviously, yeah, tits, whatever, you know, but in terms of personality, she's okay at best. And then, I forget the name of the other one, the cat girl. She's cool and that's it. But Aprilis and Doll are my two favorite girls in the entirety of the Ys universe. Yeah. I love her, man. But I love them in terms of character development, in terms of personality, in terms of design. Right? And they're sexy too. You know, but they're not as sexy as Laxia or Karna. Right? So yeah. Tia from E7. Nah, she's okay. Yeah, I agree, she's okay. The other one, the one with the other girl you get in that game. I love her, man. She's sexy. I love her. So yeah, that's it for the waifus. Well, we skipped in a peach team, right? We got the elves, the elf-looking girls. Nah, they're okay. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything about the little girl because she's a little girl, but her sister, the older sister, yeah, she's cute, but nah. You know, so Ys 5 doesn't exist. Ys Origin, I love Unica. I love her, man. But I mean, she's no waifu. I mean, well, actually, she is. You know, but like waifu in terms of sexiness and stuff like that, because that's usually what's associated with the term. Yeah, she's not. But I love Unica. She's also one of my favorite Ys characters of all time. I love her, man. That's it for the Ys waifu topic. Nocturne. You guys are going on with the Trails waifus now, aren't you? Why am I not surprised? Ys Origin also has a demon chick. Yeah, but she's not one of the main characters, so it doesn't count. If we start including NPCs or minor characters, you know, this discussion is never gonna end. So what other questions did I miss? Have you ever heard or played Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, the Genesis for the Soul Hackers? Oh, the first Devil Summoner ever. No, I've never played it. I know the game, Sega Saturn and PS1, never played it. Do you think we ever gonna get Shadow Hearts HD collection ever? Maybe if Penny Blood is successful, which is supposed to be released next year. Maybe the developers will consider it, but I just don't know who owns the rights of those two games. Shadow Hearts 1 and 2, I think it's Sony, but I have no idea who has the rights of those two games. But I don't think so. Do you think the Pokemon games are too simple for JRPGs? No. I don't like them. I don't like Pokemon. I'm not a fan whatsoever of any Pokemon game. But I don't think they're too simple. They may have been at the beginning, but they got, you know, they introduced several other aspects to them. I don't think they're that simple. They're supposed to be like friendly for JRPG gamers, you know, but I don't think they're that simple. Or if you mean simple as in anybody can get into them, you know, easy to get into, friendly, what I was saying, then yes. But simple in terms of JRPGs in general, I don't think they are that simple. Remember when Sony was awesome? Yes, I do remember. I'll never forget that. One of my favorite companies of all time. Now they're not. What are your thoughts on the state of Hollywood? I have the same opinion I have. I mean, everything, the entire entertainment industry has been poisoned by this mafia, man. So, I have the same opinion. You guys, I mean, no, I refuse to participate in your Trails waifus. We've done that topic like 10 times in the Q&As. No. It's gotta be something else. What other questions are there? Oh, that's a good one, Tekka. Have you thought about doing the versus idea for bands like The Cure versus Smashing Pumpkins? I don't have fans of that. I build my fan base on JRPGs. Hell, even if I tried non-RPGs, like, I don't know, Super Mario World versus Donkey Kong Country, you know, nobody will watch that video and no one will vote. I mean, it's just, most people just care about JRPGs. Well, that would be great. The Cure versus Smashing Pumpkins, I think The Cure wins for me. But I've been listening to the Smashing Pumpkins way more lately than The Cure. Because of the guitar. It's just The Cure is a great band to listen to, but I don't think The Cure is that fun for me to play on the guitar, because most of their songs are more melodic and they barely have any riffs. You know, it's just like different... It's so hard to talk about music because I know I studied music in Spanish. And there are different words and different terms, so I don't know the terms, you know, the melodies, you know, the melodic aspect of The Cure, you know, is just difficult for someone like me. I'm a rhythm guitar player. You know, I don't do very well in solos or in chords like the one Robert Smith uses or some of the band members use, you know. I find it easier to play Smashing Pumpkins riffs than The Cure riffs. That's why I've been listening more to Smashing Pumpkins lately than The Cure, but I prefer The Cure. Thank you, Hooflong, once again. He says, you should consider turning one of your novels into a Fabula Ultima campaign. Fabula Ultima is a JRPG-based tabletop RPG system. It is very, very good, and your stories will fit really well in them. That was an extremely random comment, man, but okay. I don't know what to say. I have no idea what that was until you mentioned it. I'll give you this. I don't know if they should be... I should consider them turning him into that specifically. But should I consider them turning them into like tabletop RPGs? Maybe, but I don't play them. Why will I turn my books into something I'm not into? I love RPGs, but I love video game RPGs. Like tabletop, you know, board games, you know, I don't play those. I like them and I respect them, and maybe someday I'd love to get into them, but I don't play those. So, no. The answer is no, man. I would never turn my books into board games because that's not what I do. I would love to turn them into video games or into anime series maybe, something like that, but tabletop, Fatima, Ultima, whatever, they could work, sure, but I don't know what that is, and I don't play tabletop games, so no. Sorry, man. To break your balls. Square Enix was better in the old days. Square Enix has always been... I don't want to talk about Square Enix now. Favorite Animal Party members in JRPGs. Check out my second channel, there's a video about that. Crash Team Racing versus Mario Kart. Depends on which Mario Kart. I think, for example, Crash Team Racing versus Mario Kart 64, which was the game it competed with, Crash for me, by far. Mario Kart 64, I don't like the Nintendo 64. I don't like its controller. I don't like most of its games, so Crash Team Racing wins for me. Crash Team Racing versus Mario Kart, the first one on the Super Nintendo, Crash. Crash wins against most Mario Kart games in my opinion, but it just doesn't hold a candle to Mario Kart 8. Mario Kart 8, any version, Wii U, Switch, Deluxe, is a masterpiece. It's the best karting game ever made. I love it, man. Crash Team Racing will probably be a second place, but Mario Kart Double Dash is also really good, man. Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS, also really good. Anyway, I'm not the biggest karting fan, so... Final Fantasy 9 versus Chrono Cross. That will be a good one. I think Final Fantasy 9 will win because it's Final Fantasy. And Chrono Trigger fans will probably vote Final Fantasy 9 because they fucking hate Cross. But Chrono Cross will win for me. How long was your longest case of post-game depression? What do you mean by post-game depression? Like that moment when you beat a game and you're done with it, and now it's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do with my life now? You know, you beat this fucking great game, man, and you beat it and you feel like emptying, right? Is that what you mean by post-game depression? Have you heard about Alzara Radiant Echoes? No. Oh, thanks for repeating your question, man. You remembered. But I want to answer the other question first. Like the question Tony asked. Like what happened in the end made you so sad. Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, since I was younger, you know, I'm a writer myself. So I've been in the fantasy world in my head forever. The imaginary world. And I are very well acquainted. So I know how to perfectly differentiate between one thing or the other. So I've never had that. I've never had like a game. The only game that kind of broke me was Chrono Cross and the ending. Sure. But at the end I was so happy. I was sad, but I was so happy, you know, that I felt like satisfied and fulfilled. And I was like, broke my heart. Yeah, the ending. But at the same time I was like, man, this is awesome. Because I value tragedy too. As much as I value happy endings as well, as much as sad endings or tragic endings. This is why I was able to appreciate Redemption Reapers. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it has a tragic ending, Redemption Reapers. Okay, and the game was criticized because of that. And whereas, you know, I'm the kind of person who I can respect and value a great ending, a positive ending, as well as a negative ending. So in terms of like post-game depression, you know, I've never gotten it, to be honest. The closest I can get is Chrono Cross. Maybe Valkyrie Profile 2 Silmeria. The ending was also like crushing, you know, but at the same time there was something positive and a positive message. It's hard to answer without spoiling, but let's just wrap this up by saying that I've never experienced that. I've experienced what I told you before. Like I beat a great game and now I'm moving on to the next game and I know it's not that great, so I'm missing this other game already and I'm like, I'm just going through that with Yakuza right now. I beat Yakuza Kiwami like 4 or 5 days ago, and I'm like, oh man, what am I gonna do now, man? The game was freaking awesome. Oh man, so now what? I'm gonna have to buy Yakuza 2, right? So, yeah, stuff like that. That's what I mean. But video game depression, as the ending destroyed me, and now I'm getting depressed, and I'm not gonna play anything for days, and I don't know what that is, man. Chrono Cross is the closest I can think of, but no, I don't think I ever experienced that. Like I beat Chrono Cross and I was so sad I couldn't play anything else or work or move on with my life. No, never. What's your favorite top 3 Fire Emblem games? I did a ranking video about a month ago called Fire Emblem Worst to Best. Go check it out. Have you watched any of the Tales of Anime? Yes, I watched the Symphonia anime, I believe, and I was like, man, it's the same as the game, so meh. Fantasia was kind of the same, so I gave up. I'm not really a fan of anime series based on JRPGs that tell the same story. Like, I'd rather play the game. Have you played Yakuza 0? No. I'm planning on playing Yakuza 1 and 2 first. I already beat the first one. Now I gotta play the second one, and then I'll jump to 0. I don't know why I get the feeling that's a good way to go. I know everybody tells me that 0 was supposed to be the first one because it's the prequel, but I don't care. You know, I want to play the first two first. The PS2 games. Playing those 2 games first is important to me before I jump into 0. Do you think a new Breath of Fire will be successful? Yes. But Capcom doesn't give a shit about that. But yes, a new Breath of Fire will be successful if it doesn't have any fucking agendas, if it's turn-based, and if it's done in the same style as the first 4 games. No mobile games, no experimental bizarre crap like Breath of Fire 5. You know, just stick to the formula of the first 4 games, and I'm pretty sure it will be very successful. Maybe not millions and millions of dollars, you know, but will probably sell a lot. Tales of Berseria, what about Tales of Berseria? That didn't do that for you? No. If you were to adapt any of your books into an anime, which Japanese animation company will you work with? I don't know a lot of Japanese names. I don't know. I can't answer that, you know. I don't know their names. Funimation, maybe? Who is the studio that made Attack on Titan? Because that would be great for, I don't know, or the Vinland Saga. Who's the studio that made the Vinland Saga? Because those two styles are similar, and that could maybe work for Terra Gaiden, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. I wouldn't play Yakuza Kiwami 2 before 0. Okay. I don't know, I want to play 2 first. It might be, you want to know what my problem is? 0 is, kind of hard to find here in Mexico. Okay. I'll see if I can get my hands on 0 first. Do you think the Answer DLC for Reload will be an enjoyable experience with the QOL, quality of life improvements, that were made when it comes out in September? What are the quality of life improvements? I don't know much about the DLC. I just thought it was a really nasty, fucked up decision by Atlus, like selling you the game separately, and then in a year or two there will be like the Royal Edition with everything together. So they're gonna sell you the same game again, and yes, you're gonna buy it again probably. And I'm not you specifically. I'm pretty sure a lot of people will. So what are the quality of life improvements in that game? What's your favorite? What about your favorite weapons in JRPGs? I've answered this before. I'm a fan. Depends on the game. Strategy RPGs, I prefer bows for some reason. But in regular RPGs, it's a cliche. I like swords. What can I say? Do you think your books could turn into a good game? Yes, most of them. Not all of them. I don't see Nyx Inferno working as a video game. Like, how? Reaper's Thorn will be another one. Like, what are you supposed to do in the Reaper's Thorn? Well, maybe there's a lot of fighting in the Reaper's Thorn. Yeah, you could do that. Maybe in Nyx Inferno, maybe you could control Nyx and destroy the world. Go by village or by place, you know, and kind of destroy everything in the most bloody, unimaginable way. The game will be censored. The Reaper's Thorn could work, though, somehow. It could work as an adventure game. But like, you want your RPGs? That will be Terra Gaiden, the Revenant Army. And that's it. Seven Shadows is another one that... How is that gonna work as an RPG? What are you gonna do? Kill... Maybe we could add some stages, you know, whenever Alice starts looking for her shadows. Maybe it will be a hack and slash, I don't know, maybe. Could work. I'd love to see you play your guitar. I have it right here. Have you ever thought of making one of your books in RPG Maker? Yeah, I tried that a long time ago. It didn't work. I suck at... I just don't have the patience for creating my own games. Do you like crafting in RPGs? No, not really. I don't hate it though. I mean... but I don't love it. Let's leave it at that. I've never played a single Way of the Samurai game, so I can't answer that. Which character poster is that behind you? That... This one? That's just a random character someone drew. And I think I got it in an anime convention when I was doing tables. You know, I had tables with my books. And it was an artist, and I probably bought a manga or something from this artist, and they gave me that as a gift. And I don't know what kind of character that is, but she looks cool. And I have nothing to put on this wall, so it's there. Erick's books by Square Enix. No, imagine. Imagine that. Don't say that, man. I will make a video on indie RPGs this year. I think I have enough. A top 10 on indie RPGs has been a request for many years by a lot of you, and I've never done that. But I think I'm ready. I think I have a really solid top 10. I just need to play one of the big ones. Like Sea of Stars or Chained Echoes. And we'll see, right? But I will. I can't answer your question right now, Nerd Crave. I will make that video, possibly this year. Kinda looks like Velvet from Berseria. No, man, she's basically a samurai. A female samurai. No. Do you have the boxes to most of your game consoles? I don't have a single one of them. PS5, that's the only one I have. I had the Switch one, but I couldn't bring it with me when I was in Canada, so I had to leave it behind. I only brought the Switch with me and its cables and controllers. I had the PS2 one as well. Many years ago, I sold it out of necessity. Some guy gave me like $3 for it. And yes, I needed those $3 back in the day. I was near bankruptcy. I had the PS4 one when I was living with my parents, and my mom got rid of it. And that was a gift. My PS4 completing box was a gift from a fan, Jason. Doesn't show up in the Q&As anymore, or any live streams, but yeah. And those are the only boxes that I've owned as a collector. I've owned many completing box consoles as a reseller when I was a reseller, but I sold them all. After playing so many strategy games, do you consider yourself a great strategist, like in real life? Strategy RPGs have certainly helped me develop a certain strategic sense in life, in making life decisions. I become very calculating man, you know, but I'm not the best strategist. I'm still a human being and I make a lot of mistakes. But I like to believe that I've made most of the good decisions, business decisions or life decisions that I've done in my life have been because I was trained by strategy RPGs or strategy games in general. So, great strategies, I don't think so, but I do tend to strategize a lot and calculate a lot in my mind for a lot of decisions, including my YouTube channel. Did you watch any of the gaming conference last week? No. Have you played Stella Deus? Yes, I have it on my PS2. That's a game that I covered a lot in this channel. Great strategy RPG, not the best one, but great. What do you think of the Front Mission games? You know, I wasn't a big fan, and then I played the remake of the first game, and it was freaking amazing. I'm still not the best fan, but I think with patience and dedication I can get into the Front Mission series eventually. Dust and Elysian Tale was a decent indie RPG. That was one of the first indie RPGs ever made. That's an Xbox 360 game, right? I haven't played it. Holy crap. Who was this, Matt? Wow. Sorry, Matt. I just got the email. I mean, the email was there, but my phone. Oh, man. Matt. You still here, man? You still watching? Thanks a bunch for the PayPal donation. Shit, man. I missed it, you know. This was like an hour ago, maybe. Anyway, sorry, man. It's just I have my phone in silent mode, obviously, whenever I do the Q&As. So you guys don't get the... oh, he's there. Thanks, Matt. Abaoaku Q. Thanks a bunch for the donation on PayPal, buddy. Appreciate it. Where do you buy your games? I barely purchased any games this year. Okay, I have a mortgage to pay, and I'm focusing on that. So I kind of reduced considerably my collecting habits. But I'm still buying every now and then a digital game. If they're dirt cheap. And I bought some of them, and I've talked about some of them, like Yakuza Kiwami, for example. But usually I buy my games on Amazon or Mercado Libre, which is the Mexican eBay. Because every single video game store here where I live is freaking far away. I moved to the middle of nowhere. I shouldn't have done that, and I regret that. That wasn't a very strategic decision. Strategy RPGs never taught me to buy a... You strike me as more of a logician than a strategist. Okay. If you were an RPG trope class, you'd be a paladin rather than a mage or a commander or something out there in the front lines buffing all. Okay. I don't know, man. Signs of becoming an adult, using a strategy in an RPG and no more grinding nor spamming. When was the last time you bought a brand new game in a certified store in Mexico? By certified, you mean like a retail store, like the equivalent of GameStop, right? Is that what you mean? That was a long. Whew. That was in. Wait a second. Wasn't too long ago. It was a few months ago. My sister lives in England, and every now and then, before coming for vacation here to Mexico, she does some game hunting for me. So I bought some games in the store called Game in Derby, where she lives in the UK, in England. Okay, so yeah, that was the last time I bought a few games, and I bought 6 games because there was like a buy 2, get 1 for free, I think. So I bought 6 games and got 3 of them for free. And I got some of them, you know. That was the last time. But a brand new game, like sealed? Man. I don't really buy sealed games, man. Amazon doesn't count, I guess it. I'm guessing, right? So you mean like an actual store? No, man, I don't know. I don't know, man. When was the last time I bought a sealed brand new game from a certified store or something? I don't know. I usually buy used games from stores. Brand new, that's a rarity in me. But I bought brand new games on Amazon. But that doesn't count, I guess. When you buy a game in Mexico, what language do they speak? We speak Spanish here, man. What are you talking about? I don't understand your question. Are you trying to ask what language do they come in? Half of them are in Spanish already. And they have an ESRB rating in Spanish. Most of them have that, you know. It's rare to see the American ESRB rating from the US or the Canada or PAL, you know, anymore. Nowadays, almost every single video game in stores, be it Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox, you know, they have the Mexican ESRB rating now logo. And most of them have a Spanish explanation in the back cover. But for the longest time, they were all in English, imported from the United States of America. Now, there's no gaming shops in your area. You can set up a franchise. I had a store, you know, but having a store and running a store requires a lot of money, you know, especially, what's the name? Providers. You know, people who will go and sell games to you. Don't say things like that to me, man. I'm tempted to go back to reselling nowadays. I've been missing that a great deal, you know, but where I live, it's just inaccessible. I don't have a car. I will need a car to move around, because even the bus stop where I live is far away. Are you a fan of the Mario and Luigi games? Yeah, a little bit. I've never finished a single one of them, though. Is emulating Xenogears the best way to play it these days? Yeah. Or, you know, you can buy it digital on the PlayStation 3/PlayStation Vita store. I think it's usually for like $5 or $10. If you have a PS3 or PS Vita, you can buy it there, digital. And it's a good way to play it. If you need old games for a better price, go on Lucky Games. I live in Mexico, dude. Okay, I know there's a website called Video Games Plus, for example, with great deals. I don't buy anything because they don't have their own shipping service. Everything I buy from that website is gonna be shipped through the Mexican Postal Service, and I don't want to get into that. There's a reason why the Mexican Postal Service has a lot of infamy in the entire continent of America. It's garbage, and they steal a lot of packages. So, yeah. Shipping is my main problem when I buy things from overseas or from another country, you know. It's always the same. I never buy anything from other countries because of that. Which one is your favorite Disgaea game? Disgaea 4. Should I wait for the remasters or just play Suikoden 2? You know what? I don't know what the remasters are gonna be like in terms of translation. I think you should just play it, man. Yeah, don't wait for the remasters because I don't know, man. I just don't trust Konami. And the trailers look beautiful and whatever, but I don't know. Do you prefer them in Spanish version versus the English version? You know why I prefer them in English? Out of custom, out of tradition, because I grew up buying games, playing games in English, and that's one of the main reasons why I learned English, thanks to video games. So seeing them in Spanish and buying them in Spanish, I have a couple of them that are already in Spanish, but they are in English with English subtitles. I always play everything with English subtitles, even if it's the dub is in Japanese or English. It doesn't matter. As long as the subtitles are in English, I'm fine. But yeah, I prefer the English versions, ironically. Because I like learning, you know. I don't think I'll ever stop learning English and improving my language, my accent, my pronunciation, my words. I'm an author, so I need to improve it forever, for the rest of my life. So I prefer reading in English than in Spanish when it comes to video games. So I prefer them in English than Spanish. But other people will say, about fucking time. They should have done this in Spanish since like 30 years ago, right? So it's not that I'm against it. I couldn't care fucking less about anything from Ubisoft, man. Do not ask me questions about Ubisoft. I fucking despise with a passion that shitty ass company. Okay, I fucking hate Ubisoft nowadays, man. Don't ask questions about anything from Ubisoft. Fuck those guys. What are your favorite cartoons? Leaving anime aside, like Dragon Ball, Saint Seiya, leaving all of those aside that I grew up with, or my favorite anime series of all time, like Ergo Proxy Claymore, leaving those aside, I guess I'm gonna go with South Park. Although South Park, there's a lot of duality in there. Sometimes they do a lot of things in favor of the left. Sometimes they do a lot of things against the left. I used to love SpongeBob. I used to love it. I haven't watched any season from SpongeBob in like 15 years, maybe. But let's just say that I watched the first 3-4 seasons of SpongeBob SquarePants, and I'm a big fan, believe it or not. I love it. I love the old SpongeBob. Fuck, saying that in English is hard. SpongeBob. SpongeBob, you know. You were a diehard too? Yeah, I was a diehard too, man. Back in the day, but I stopped watching them. I stopped watching SpongeBob a long time ago. I haven't watched anything. The Simpsons, another big one. I used to love The Simpsons, but again, I haven't watched any of the past 15 seasons, maybe 20 seasons. I love The Simpsons from the 90s and maybe the early 2000s, and that's it, you know. But that's about it. Your language is Arabic. However, I always play my games on English. But do you have... Are the games in Arabic in your country? Or are they always in English when you go to your game stores? I mean, what's up? I'd like to know that. I'd like to know because... You know, I was in Germany. 7 years ago, I visited Germany. And you bet your ass a lot of the games were in German. And I was tempted to buy one, but I was like, no. I mean, I know it's probably gonna have English subtitles, maybe, but I wasn't sure. So I visited a game shop in Germany, and the games were in German. The boxes, the art style, you know, the title was in the original English, but the back of the cover was in like in German. That was crazy, man. So are games in Arabic where you live, Metal Wolf? I know Archer and I know Rick and Morty, but I'm not a fan. I barely watch them. On your podcast about Xenogears, if I remember correctly, you got it for $9. Although it was a long time ago, that was a steal for sure. Yeah, I paid the equivalent of $9 back then. Although it was probably less, you know. But yeah, around $10, which will nowadays be like $20. But still, I mean, $20 for a Xenogears copy, I mean, that's a steal, yeah. At what point does Haseo in Dot Hack grow on you? I couldn't stand him and moved onto the different game. I get that Haseo is a bit of a prick and unlikable motherfucker during the first game. He started growing on me on the second game. That guy, Haseo, gets incredible character development, man. You should go back to the series and give it a second chance. PS5 games only are in Arabic language. Oh, interesting. So everything from PS4, Xbox, Switch are still in English. That's interesting. Switch makes sense because I don't think Nintendo has offices in Saudi Arabia. They don't even have offices in Mexico anymore. Nintendo of Mexico shut down offices a long time ago. So everything we get on the Switch is in English, actually. But no, some games are in Spanish too. But now I'm confused. Anyway, never mind. Hey, Ashura. No, you didn't open a Pandora's box by asking me an Elden Ring. I think Elden Ring is a JRPG too. I think the Souls games are JRPGs. They're done by Japanese developers. And they're role-playing games, so yeah. No Pandora's box in there. Maybe you open the Pandora's box for other people here, not to me. What are your thoughts on 2000s BioWare? Modern BioWare, I couldn't care less. 2000s BioWare was cool, was a cool company. You know, not the biggest fan, but it was a cool company. What? Anyway, how long does it usually take you to write your reviews? It depends on the game, you know. But yeah, hours and hours and hours, man. Don't think that I should sit down and in 1 or 2 hours my review is completely written. No, it takes me hours. A lot of time. Last questions, guys. Almost have to go. This music. This is from Valkyrie Profile 2. Great soundtrack. There's only one thing in which Valkyrie Profile 1 is better than 2, in my opinion, and that is the music. The music, I love the soundtrack in 2, but the music is better in 1. Everything else is better in 2. Music, I mean graphics, characters, story, battle system. I'm probably one of the very few people who will say that, but yeah. Some of your favorite JRPG music composers. Yasunori Mitsuda is always gonna be my number one, no matter what. Good old Nobuo Uematsu. I also love Shoji Meguro, Motoi Sakuraba, Ryota Kosuka. Ryota Kosuka is one of my favorites. Did Shin Megami Tensei 4 and Apocalypse and Shin Megami Tensei 5. Big, huge fan of that guy. Yoko Shimomura, man, I love her. I love her freaking music. Miki Higashino, even though she only did like 3 soundtracks, you know, in her entire career, relevant soundtracks. Yeah, I love her. Miki Higashino. Who else? What about... Did I mention Shoji Meguro already? I did. Yeah, I did. Definitely. Anyway, those are some of my favorites. Composer in some mana games. The Hiroki Kikuta. That's the composer in some mana games. Great composer, yeah, but I prefer Yoko Shimomura. She did Legend of Mana and... Oh my god, yeah. One of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Well, now you're just talking amongst yourselves, all of you. So, I guess I'm gonna leave. Eric just wanted to say thank you for your content, and I do try to watch as many videos and make sure to like them. Sometimes it's hard to make it to the live streams, but I do try to make it. You don't need to sound that apologetic, man, but thanks. As long as you watch the videos, we're cool. I'm just being an asshole, Rosland. Don't worry, man. I know what you're gonna write, Donsk. That you're a fan of the Trail series and you thank me for introducing you to them. You're welcome. What is this? Fate Extella? That's a cool action game with RPG elements. Kind of Musou Dynasty Warrior style. It's a pretty cool game. There's 2 games. I never played the second one, just the first one. It's pretty good. Be sure to play this on PS4. Do not play the PS Vita version of this game. But it's still decent. It's still a decent version if you can't get your hands on the PS4 version. But the PS4 version is better. There's also a Switch version. I had this game, but I sold it to my buddy Lou. I had a special edition that I couldn't bring with me from Canada. I regret selling that special edition now. Someday I'll get it back. Alright guys, a few more minutes and we're done. Eternal Ring was the first From Software game on PS2. Yes, it was. I don't like that game. I did play it. First person game. It's anything in first person, man. I just don't like it. Ready for the Xenosaga Trilogy remaster? Sure, when? Like in your head? That's an imaginary remaster, and it will probably stay that way forever. But I still hope Bandai Namco proves me wrong one day. Just prove me wrong, Bandai Namco. Just prove me wrong. Remaster the trilogy, please. It's this music. I mean, just listen to it. You wouldn't expect this. It sounds like not from a Fate game. Well, the Fate Extra soundtrack on PSP is also kind of like jazzy and blues, and it's kind of weird too, and I love it. So yeah. Do you guys know this game? From the Abyss. This is an action RPG on the Nintendo DS, and yeah, it's okay at best. You gonna try Monster Hunter Wild next year? No, I care nothing about the Monster Hunter series with the exception of stories. Monster Hunter stories, I care, but anything else from Monster Hunter, not a fan, man. I couldn't care less. Some of your favorite futuristic JRPG games? Well, that's a topic for another time. I gotta go now, guys. I'm leaving. Thank you very much. Have a happy Father's Day. If you have a father, or if you have any kids, hope you enjoy your day. Thanks a lot for the donations. Special thanks to Matt once again for the donation on PayPal. I really appreciate it, man. Had a blast with the Versus video. Hope to see you in the next Q&A with another Versus episode and more goddamn questions. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Have a great weekend. See you next time.